So, as part of our coverage of the Hollywood shutdown with the actors and writers on strike, we brought to you some colorful commentary from Ron Perlman spelling out exactly how he felt about the studio execs saying they were going to keep the writers out on strike until they start losing their homes. And we are very excited to be joined now by Ron Perlman himself. Welcome.
I'm just glad to be at large after the events of the last few days.
Oh, that's
good.
Well,
talk to us a little bit.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. We're really grateful you took the time. Just talk to us a little bit about some of the emotions that animated what you had to say.
It's savage when, especially people who are colleagues of yours or purported to be colleagues of yours in the same industry as you, with the same wants and needs and hopefully visions as you, to have feeling it is bad, but saying it out loud is completely unacceptable. We're not going to come to the bargaining table until people start losing their houses. And it just pushes a lot of buttons, and it's indicative of a kind of a struggle that's been going on since labor decided to organize and force management to at least address giving us a modicum of recognition. There's a lot of other things we want, but recognition that we're humans and that we have families and that we're doing all the work that gives you guys the right to have these big golden parachutes and whatever other toys that you're obsessed with having. But we just would like to be treated with some dignity and respect and humanity.
Right.
And if you give us those things, you'll be amazed at how far that kind of goodwill goes with working stiffs. We're pretty loyal people. We're not out for golden parachutes. We're just out for a good day's pay, for a good day's work, and the ability to raise our families with dignity.
Right. Ron, your comments were kind of misconstrued by a lot of people in the media. You issued a, quote, clarification. I actually didn't think what you were saying was all that threatening. What do you think that the reception to it, though, sparked in terms of people putting the quote on T-shirts, it really becoming a rallying cry, shows about the way that the writers and the actors are standing tall in the current strike?
Well, there was a movie called Network, and
great movie.
Peter Finch said, "I want you to go to your windows and open them up and stick your head out and say, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore." And I think we're at this point in our society where the haves and the have-nots are almost at Les Miserables levels. The disparity is so great. The threat to the very existence of a middle class is really palpable and really real. And so I think when you respond to it in a kind of a visceral, no holds barred, shoot from the hip kind of way, people go, fuck yeah. I wish I'd said that, So that's what it was. But I noticed that, I've been taking to Instagram Live for the 5 days hence, and none of that's making the news. It's just, they want to, the way the media is set up, they go for the clickbait. They go for the stuff that's incendiary and bordering on unacceptable. And the reason why I went back on and clarified my comments and said that I don't really wish anybody any harm, but I hope the motherfucker who made that statement also doesn't wish anybody any harm, is because I didn't want it to be taken as this one-dimensional, out of control, very dismissible kind of rant.
Right.
It was a call to decency, and it needed to be put in a perspective where it wasn't used in some kind of incendiary clickbait fashion.
Right.
Ron, what do you have to say to studio heads who say, listen, streaming has taken a big bite out of our apple. We're struggling to figure out this new business model. And as Bob Iger said from Disney, the demands from actors aren't reasonable. They're unreasonable. What's your response to those claims?
Fuck you. I mean, I listed the salaries of the 10 guys. Iger, I think, is second. You know, it's up in the $235 million a year range. You can't tell me, you can't plead poverty and from your yacht and be credible. You come off like a Dickens villain. And if that's the conversation that needs to be had, and it said something else, you know, in the aftermath of those initial comments, which is that this strike is nothing more than a symptom of a kind of a cynicism that has taken hold between the people who only get their ill-gotten gains by devaluing other people. And it's kind of a gaslighting that we don't just see it in the motion picture industry, we see it everywhere. There's an entire party that runs on making sure we hate each other, making sure we devalue each other. That's the way. That's their route into controlling us, which is, you know, people who are power hungry. That's the game plan. So a guy who tells me we don't have the resources and then writes himself a fucking check for $235 million, you know, I mean, come on. You know,
Ron,
you know, don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining.
Right. You're in a lucky position, Ron. People know your name. You're able, you know, we can talk here. We've talked previously with Susan Sarandon just a couple of minutes ago. We were talking about how many of the people who are in the union, you know, these people are barely struggling in order to get health insurance. So why do you think it's important for people like you and others who are maybe more well known by the public in order to speak out on behalf of those people?
I just think all we're really looking for is a level playing field. And I think that, you know, what we're hoping for is some sort of a recognition that we're kind of in different size boats, but we're all on the same seas and we're all rowing in the same direction. And the conclusion I ultimately came to after many days of grappling with all this is that we should be loving each other. We recognize your value. We hope that you recognize ours. And that's something that just needs to be said in terms of taking the temperature down in the country and stop, you know, having a class of people who are orchestrating nothing but disease and tension. And that comes from just following the golden rule, loving your neighbor and realizing that everybody's got families and everybody's got parents that need medicine care. And I think that needs to be the conversation. And it plugs into this particular issue. If you get all that stuff right, then everything else kind of falls into place, I think.
Yeah, I think that is very well said. Ron, we're really grateful for your time and grateful for you, you know, speaking your mind. It's powerful to hear. And, you know, it's been really, I think, important to see really prominent people such as yourself speaking out, not just on behalf of this particular struggle, but connecting it to broader struggles and to the overall greed of corporate CEOs and the way that this impacts working people across the country. So thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you, Ron.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's our pleasure.
God bless.
Hey guys, if you like that video, go to breakingpoints.com, become a premium subscriber, and help us build the best independent media organization on the planet.
That's right. We're subscriber funded. We're building something new. We want to replace these failing mainstream media organizations.
So again, to subscribe, it's breakingpoints.com.